the Caswell-Kritzer House, circa 1890, built in the Colonial Revival style. This lot and an earlier frame house that stood on it were the property from 1871 of lumber baron William B. Caswell, whose mansion stands at 1024 Juliana Street. His widow, Clarissa Caswell, inherited all the property in 1887, and at her death in 1897, commissioners assigned this piece to the Caswell's daughter, Clara A. Roberts. Clara owned this property until her death in 1921. She had the large, handsome brick Colonial Revival duplex built around 1900. At one time, it was the residence of Mr. and Mrs. James Madison Jackson, who built 919 Juliana Street. Clara Roberts' will left this duplex to her niece, Julia C. Ayers, daughter of her deceased sister, Abby Ayers, and granddaughter of the Caswells. Julia kept the property until 1927, but had moved to Walla Walla, Washington, and sold it in that year to Daisy M. Pedro. The duplex had a succession of owners since the mid-20th century, who generally used it as a rental property. The current owners, who acquired the duplex in 2003, chose the south side as their residence and have undertaken extensive renovations. The entrance leads to a larger foyer with a fireplace, one of 6 in the house. 3 sets of pocket doors are characteristic of the turn-of-the-century woodwork in the house. This unit contains 4 bedrooms on the second floor and 2 baths. An almost identical version of this structure formerly stood at 422 10th Street, just a half a block away on what is now the parking lot for the recently renovated Jan Dill's office building. These duplexes were early examples of the Colonial Revival style that gained popularity in the closing years of the 19th century and quickly replaced the several styles of Victorian-era architecture that had dominated the Julia Ann Square district prior to 1900. The most striking characteristic of this structure is the gambrel roof, sometimes likened to a barn roof, that was patterned on Dutch colonial architecture of the 1700s.